Hey neighbors, it's Trevor with etrailer. Today we're going to take a look and doing an installation of the Roadmaster Direct Connect baseplate on our 2016 Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Now your baseplate is going to be one of 5 main components for your flat towing rig. You got the baseplate as the first, tow bar, then your wiring, your braking system, and then the safety cables. Now what's really nice about this baseplate in particular is it has a really clean look on it. Instead of having those long crossbars, you have 2 hooks where the tow hooks used to be, slides into the frame rail, trim a little bit, and you're done. Now another nice thing about this kit is all you have to do is pull this pin out and you can remove these arms, so whenever you're not flat towing your vehicle, it sits flush with the bumper and no one would really ever notice it unless they knew what they were looking for. Now what these included safety chain tabs. They are nice to have, but they sit a little too close to the front fascia than I would like. But if you take a little bit of time and make sure you get the smaller clevis hook styles out of there carefully, you won't end up hitting anything. But as for that, the tow bar has 1 pin, slides out pretty easily. And then from there, all you'd have to do is kind of move this off to the side a little bit, pull the back of the clip, remove that pin, and the arm slides out. Now as you can see, it sits pretty flush with that front fascia. Now generally with the base plates, it's going to be the first thing that gets installed whenever you're trying to get your vehicle ready to be flat towed. And it's going to be a little bit more of a tedious process to get it installed. You're going to have to typically take off your front fascia of the vehicle to even get to where you're going to have it mounted. But if that doesn't sound like something that you would be able to tackle at home yourself, you can always use our dealer locator tool to find a shop near you that'd be able to do this installation for you. To begin our install, we're going to start by removing our whole fascia. Specifically, we're going to start by removing these push pins on top to get this trim panel off. Now to remove these push pins, you can either use a trim panel tool or a flathead screwdriver. Both work very well. And now that we have that one out, we have 11 more to do around the front side of this truck. And with the push pins removed, we can go ahead and pull this off and set this off to the side. Now once we have that trim panel off, we're going to go ahead and remove the 4 10mm bolts lined along the front grille here. Now we're ready to remove our grille. What we're going to do is we're going to pull up on the top here. You'll have a half moon kind of pin holding the grille onto the front. And then when you lift that out, you just pull straight out towards you. And you'll have these half moon pins along the whole side here. So as you're pulling this off, make sure you're popping the pins out, then work your way down, pull up on that. And as you do that, it'll slowly start to come loose. And whenever you pull this off, you'll have these 6 metal pins holding in place, and they're on there pretty good, so you will have to use a little bit of force to get them off. Now we are going to have to remove a wiring harness from our fascia before we can remove it. And all you need to do is take a trim panel tool or a flathead, go down here to this wiring harness, pop that off, and then you can slide the actual connector forward here and free that up. And then to remove it, you just take this red locking tab and you slide this back. Once you have that slid back, just push down on this tab here and pull it apart. Now on the other side of our front bumper here, we're going to have a 15mm bolt holding the stabilizer bar to the bumper on both sides of the vehicle. We're just going to go ahead and get that removed. And then once you have that out, go ahead and repeat that process on the other side. So before we can take off the bumper, we got to remove 4 18mm bolts, and we're going to start with the top 2. And we're going to just loosen them up a little bit, make it to where you can get them off by hand. We're just going to leave them like that, and then remove the interior 2. And so this holds that in place, and it makes it easier to get off when we move to the next step. And now we're going to remove the interior 2 fully. Now to remove our bumper, you're going to need an extra set of hands. I got Tom helping me today. Since we left those bolts hand tied up top, we're just going to take those off, and then we're slowly going to pull the bumper off. There we go. So next we're going to remove these 3 18mm bolts from this bracket. And then we're going to remove 2 18mm bolts, and this bolt here will have a nut on the other side. And once we get this out, it's going to allow us to remove our toe loops, because our base plates are actually going to install right where our toe loop is. Now we're getting ready to put the base plate in place. We're going to line this back hole up first and put 8 bolts into it. And then when we do that, this hole should be lined up with this hole. And this hole here we're going to have to drill all the way through because it doesn't have a hole on the other side, and we'll have to put a bolt all the way through and a nut and a lock washer on the other side. So now that we have that hole lined up, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of red Loctite on our 5/8 bolt. And then we're also going to use this big fender washer and a lock washer to hold it in place. Now we're going to take one of our longer bolts and put that through the base plate, and if you do have an issue with getting the bolt to go fully through, you can take a 1/2-inch drill bit and run it through that hole to make sure that everything lines up correctly. And we're going to take one of these plates here that has the 2 bolts on it, kind of like this half-moon cutout, and then we're going to put this half-moon cutout towards this bolt here and slide that through. Now I'm going to take a 1/2-inch drill bit and go straight through this hole all the way out the other side. And once we got that drilled out, that'll allow us to go ahead and get the second bolt passed through. Now we're going to take the same style plate we had on the other side and slide that over these bolts here. And once we got that in place, we're going to take a little bit of our red Loctite, put a little bit on our threads. Then we're going to take a lock washer. And then a nut. And get that threaded on hand tight. Now taking the same 1/2-inch drill bit, we're going to go ahead and make a hole through this brace here. And now once we have that drilled out, we're going to take one of our 1/2-inch bolts, put a little bit of red Loctite on it, slide that in place. We're going to take one of these square blocks, put that on the back side, then a lock washer and a nut. And we're just going to go hand tight with that for now, and then we'll come back and get everything snugged down. And take our 19 mil. Now we're going to get this bolt snugged up, and we're going to use a 15/16 socket for that. Now we're going to come back and torque everything down to our specifications and our instructions. And if you don't have a torque wrench at home, you can always rent one at your local auto parts store, or you can pick one up here at eTrailer. And now we're going to get our fascia trimmed out so that we can get this back on with the base plates allowing to come through the toe hook slots. Now if you are doing a full flat toe, you will have some more things you'll have to trim out of the fascia to get, say, like we have to do an air chuck and a breakaway plus our 6-pole. So just keep that in mind for whenever you get to this point in your flat toe setup. But whenever we're getting it trimmed for the base plate, what they're trying to do is just basically kind of get this hole squared up in our instructions, but I would refer to the instructions for the diagram just to make sure it's still that way. Once you have it trimmed out though, and you have your bumper bracket put back on the front of the bumper support, and then you get all the bolts put back on, you can go ahead and just button it back up. And that was a look at the installation of the Roadmaster Direct Connect base plate on our 2016 Chevrolet Silverado 1500.